Hello my viewers, welcome back to my channel. I want us to revisit our desk issue. Last time we talked about texture mapping, how you can make the texture align itself to the correct position. Like we saw last time from our desk, we said the top view should be horizontal, that is the texture should run horizontally, the side panel should be vertical, and the drawers should be horizontal as well as the back panel. Now for us to do this, sit down, watch and reason so that we can go together. Welcome. Now, texture mapping is normally done on 3D objects. On a regular 3D object, you can change the wrapping mode and texture axis system. That is to change the direction of the default texture mapping. We need to redefine the coordinates x, y, and z so that we have the right vertical or horizontal mapping. For better understanding, I'll refer you to one of the downloads you can do on GDL handbook. That's what I've opened on my desk. And you can see we are talking about basic texture mapping. You can get all the details around here. And for us to do that, we need this coding here. This is very, very important where we talk about the base, the vert, the COR, and the negative body. This may be a bit hard for even me to understand, but once you're able to copy this and just understand a few things, you can be able to work around it. Now, let's just copy this for starters. I will explain a few things. Just copy, go to your object, just highlight this and open the object, come to 3D, and then you can create a different subroutine for this. So the last subroutine was 400. Let's make this 500 and do a return. Copy and then paste your coordinates there. Now, what we call the base is the command that resets the counter for GDL objects. And when you talk about the body -1, it identifies the end of the texture mapping definition. 1, which is referred here, which should always be negative. Let's put them into negatives. Refers to the original axis. -4 refers to x-axis. -3 refers to the z-axis, while the -2 refers to the y-axis. And remember, we talked about defining the coordinates of x, y, z in a new way so that the texture can change. The tool we have here defines what we call texture mapping. We have 4 types of mappings, and I'll start with the plane. The plane is a 2D or 4-sided item without depth, and therefore if you want to do any mapping for its texture, you use 1. If you have a rectangle will always have a depth. That means a prism, a block, or a brick. And therefore, you can be able to define its texture mapping using number 2. If you have a cylinder, you use 3. If you are working with a spherical item, you use 4. But take note, when you're talking of tubes don't take any texture mappings. It's very difficult to define a texture mapping for tubes. The 1024, it's a quadratic texture projection. I even don't know what that means, but it's part of the coordinates that we have here. Sometimes you may even find this 1024 replaced with 256, and 256 defines the fill that always starts at the local origin. Now, that being said and done, what we have on our object, it's more of rectangles, the prisms. And therefore, anytime that we need to do anything, we'll be working with number 2, which is for prisms or rectangles. After we've copied our vertices, our coordinates that we have, now we need to determine to know exactly what this refers to. The vertices that we have currently refer to vertical mapping. So we can do a comment. Let's write this vertical texture mapping. We need one also for horizontal. Copy and write horizontal texture mapping, and then copy all this, paste. Let this have a different subroutine, number 600. All we need is to rotate the vertices, and we do using rotate Y 90. And remember always to delete any transformation. So for us to use these two subroutines, we need to use go sub. So we'll go to each part of the desk, that is the top, the legs, the drawers, the back, and use this. So let's start with the top. No, I'll start with the legs. Now, before we reuse this, we need to make this into the correct order. This should be 2, 3, and 4, and we can copy this. There you have it. And then we can use these ones. And in order for us to use, all we need is to use go subs. We'll start with the reg. Let's look for the reg. Before the word return, write go sub 500 for the vertical. Let's check it out. You can see that's the positioning. Let's go to the modesty. Again, before the return key, use go sub 500. You can see. But remember, for the back, we don't need vertical. We need it to run horizontal. So put 600. You can see for yourself. Those are the changes that we are effecting. So if you see the top is running correctly, that tells you it should have a vertical orientation. So copy the desk reg and but if you want to zoom out the code, always use the control key as you zoom inwards or outwards. So come to the top and give it go sub 500. Doesn't change. Let's go to the drawers. The drawers are horizontal, so we need to give them go sub 600. Or this should not interfere with the code, so it should be here. Sorry, I need the leg, the part of the drawer. The main drawers are these ones, if I'm not wrong. Good. You can see the changes. And that, my people, is how to do texture mapping for your object. And the benefit of texture mapping comes when you're doing rendering. If they are not well mapped, that object won't render well. So always make sure that you do texture mapping correctly for the best rendering. Thanks for your time. Keep watching my channel, comment below, and subscribe. Thank you. Until another day, have a nice day.